What's up everybody, Femos here, and in this video we are going to work on a resin kit. This will be a tutorial with an unboxing, so stick around and let's get to work. If you're involved in the gunpla community, then you might have heard of one of the following terms: resin, dress up, conversion, or garage kits. While most dress up kits and conversion kits are made of resin, there are some kits out there that are not. But we are here to learn about resin, so we are going to focus on those kits, and I will show you how to work with resin and what you need. But before we start, we have to do a little schooling, because what is resin? Your typical runner is made out of a plastic injection that gets made by melting polystyrene and injecting it into a steel mold. Resin, however, takes more time to make and is a craft on its own. Resin is a two-part chemical poured into a rubber mold. While steel molds last a long time, you can imagine a rubber mold having a shorter lifetime. So manufacturers can't produce a mass amount of resin kits. They will have to cast a new mold before they can make another kit. Together with the time and precision, the manufacturing process seems to be the reason why resin kits are more expensive than, for example, your Bandai kit. So why do people buy resin kits? Before I can answer that question, I have to answer another question first. Is it difficult to work with resin? The short answer is yes, but no. If you're a beginner builder, then the answer is yes. You do need model building experience before you take on a resin kit. These kits don't come with beautiful knobs that you can fit and click, and then a lot of times the manual is fake and in worst cases non-existent. Also, resin kits are meant to be fully painted yourself. They come in white or yellowish color, and if you want to paint them in original mobile suit colors, then you have to match them carefully with the suit. A little paint knowledge is also needed, as you can tell. Depending on what kind of brand or source you buy your resin from, the parts are meant to be glued together. You might have to sand, bend and test everything to fit properly. It takes time and patience, but don't let it scare you, because there's a reason so many people are in resin kits, and this is why. If you're an experienced builder and master grades and perfect grades are no challenge for you anymore, then resin kits are most likely the next step. They come in various different sizes, where you can transform your mobile suit into a whole different suit, or just add some awesome big accessories to your current build. Most of the time resin kits are made with high precision and are chock full of details. This will add more realism and make your kit go from good to outstanding. Resin kits are also good if you want to challenge yourself. They take more time to build and you will have to depend more on your own skill rather than following a manual. I've seen dress up kits that will set you up for at least a couple of months from start to end. Also, a lot of dress up kits come with their own metal parts like metal trusses and our photo ads. Some even include their own water decals. While some resin kits are meant to be put onto an existing suit, there are some resin kits that don't need a kit from, let's say, Bandai to be built. They contain everything you need, sometimes even with an inner frame. This makes it possible to have a kit in a certain size or scale if your favorite plastic model kit fabricator doesn't have it. In this video we are going to build a Gatling gun, which is an accessory weapon set for the rear grade Sasabi that I'm working on. This is a pretty small kit that is not too expensive, and great for people who want to start on their first resin kit. Let's see what's inside the box and get started. So on top of the box you can see a little image of what the guns look like. They are primed here for reference purposes, but you can give them any color you want. And as you can see, it says Garage Kits as mentioned earlier in this video. This kit is from SH Studio and I will put a link in the description below. One of the first things you will notice when you open up a resin kit is the smell. It has a sweet and really typical smell for resin. Inside the box we got a manual, but more on that later. We have 2 bags of metal ammunition chains and then of course the resin parts. The parts don't come on a runner like you might be used to, but are almost always packed the way this kit is packed. These parts have a really bright yellow color, but I've seen resin kits in white color or just a desaturated yellow. Before you start ripping open the plastic, you want to check the parts list and whether all the parts are there. Resin fabricators are often small companies who can make a mistake more often than a big corporation as Bandai does. I've already inspected mine and we are complete. I've never had a kit missing a part, but I've seen and heard the stories. So what do you need to build a resin kit? You don't need much more than the stuff you probably already have for building model kits, but some small things will come in handy. Resin kits are not always perfect and you might have to sand them to make them fit. Inhaling resin is a really bad thing to do. When sanding, you might expose yourself to dust coming into your lungs. I highly recommend getting a proper mask with a good set of filters when finding resin inside. Make sure your room is well ventilated or even use an airbrush station to vent the dust out if you have one. Another method that is used by quite some people is wet sanding. You can dip your parts in water and sand them while they are wet. This prevents the dust from going everywhere as the water makes it heavier. Another helpful tool you might have to use is a little saw. Sometimes resin kits still have pieces of the mold they were cast in. I wouldn't recommend using your good nippers to get them off, but instead use a saw and sand them. Like I mentioned before, resin parts are mostly meant to be glued together. No clicking and no knobs. Plastic glue won't work since it's a different kind of material than your runners, so most builders just use a super glue to glue the parts together. I'm using a gel type super glue which I found easy to handle and apply. Everything else is like your regular model kit. You can use pretty much any paint you want and treat them like you treat your other kits. Now that we have everything together we need, we can start building. Get all the parts you need. For this kit it's fairly easy, since we are building one thing. But if you are working on a mobile suit, you just want to get the parts you want to work on. For example, just the foot or just the upper arm. We want to do a test build first to see if everything fits together or whether we have to sand and adjust the parts before gluing them. To do this, I like to use some cheap masking tape from the dollar store to hold everything together. And if you feel like something doesn't fit, make your adjustment using a file. Be gentle with your parts and make sure you don't fall too much. Resin is also easy to adjust by dropping it in hot water and bends a little. The material is pretty flexible, but don't press too hard or you will break it. Once test fitting is done, you can start thinking of your design if you haven't already. I'm not going to tell you how or what you should do, as this is all up to you. But here's what I did with my parts.
Robo Beats.
And here is the final result of the SH Studio Gatling gun for the real grade Sasabi. A small and easy kit for people who want to get into resin kits. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If I overlooked anything and you got some advice for others, then please leave it in the comments and let's help each other out. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram to see my latest build. See you next time and enjoy building.